And more than 3 pets above ground, you appear to have reached the dust level. It seems that the books stored on this difficult-to-reach location are rarely used, to say the least. The layer of dust that is up to half a nail's breadth speaks volumes. The plug you tried to decipher from below is now recognizable. Indeed, at this level you can actually read the text on the plug. If you just lean a bit to the side. Ah, there you go. The plug you blink a bit doubtfully reads magic and stuff. Quite a strange text, you think, considering that this is a plug not but put on a bookshelf in an official Santharian library. On the other hand, you wonder whether any regular mortal might actually be able to decipher that text on the top of the shelf. Fear of heights is definitely not recommendable for people who want to discover this well-hidden secret. Okay. Plug is readable. And if we go further up, sensing the ground moving away further and further, you climb up some more steps to reach the end of the ladder. Above awaits the Ximax rat home. That's kind of cute. I'll just write that down. Here you are at the top of the bookshelf, more than 5 pets above ground, and all in all a bit uncomfortable at this. You feel as if you've just climbed Mount Evermorn, but you notice that you are not the first one on top. Believe it or not, but there's a rat sitting on top of the shelf, not far away from the plug, and it seems to be studying a book on magic. And it's got the poster that Jeffrey had in the book. It's a drawing in the book. Let's look at the plaque again. Yes, here it is still, right in front of your nose. It reads magic and stuff. It says magic and stuff, and very clearly for that matter. If you're 2 handspans in front of it, it's quite easy to read, right? Look at ground. Right now you remember a wise man's warning, better not to look down if you climb up somewhere. While you're not precisely climbing up anymore now that you've reached the top of the shelf, nevertheless the wise man's saying might still apply here on this very spot, you think, as you suddenly feel a certain lightheadedness and cramps in your stomach. Quickly you lift up your head again. Look at Red. Here we have a fascinating exemplar of the legendary Xamax rat. Our little fellow here appears not much different compared to our usual rat. It is white, has black beady eyes. White and black beady eyes. Don't white rats usually have red eyes? And a pink tail, but from what you've heard about their intelligence, they are in no way like the common house rat. Xemaxian rats are said to be able to understand the human tongue and follow commands, though they are mostly too clever to do so. I think in the other game there were also a couple of rats who were really smart. You wonder if this rat here on top of the shelf can actually understand what is written there on the pages of the book it examines so closely. While you have difficulties with the contents personally, the rat scans the pages in a very intent way. Then its little head pauses the movement as if it is not only carefully reading, but also thinking about what it has just learned. You slowly move your hand towards the rat and the book to lift the front pages a bit and get a glance at the cover. The rat doesn't seem to have any objections and looks at you understandingly. You lift up the front pages and read the title, Pyrokinesis. Very interesting. You retract your hand again and the rat seems to nod back at you, reassuring that it doesn't feel interrupted at all. Then it continues looking at the pages. Talk to rat. You clear your throat before attempting to communicate with this little rat-reading fellow. The rat, however, barely seems to take note of you. It speaks briefly above its shoulder as it feels a bit disturbed, then continues with investigating the page in front of it. While doing so, it squeaks to itself every now and then, seemingly full of excitement. Hello, little rat? You attempt to start a conversation, but you only earn a squeaking that is just a tiny little bit louder than usual and has a strange pinch to it. You don't quite get the meaning of that, you have to admit. The rat still stares at the tome in front of it, very concentrated. How are you called, little fellow? You try your luck. The rat suddenly turns around and looks at you for a moment. Tuff, tuff. It produces somehow by a sort of whistling through its teeth, but the next moment the rat is already back with reading its book. Well, you could at least tell me what you're doing here, you say to the rat reproachfully. Narf! Squealy! The rat suddenly squeals without turning around. You wonder whether it was your question that caused its reaction, or something interesting the white little fellow has discovered upon reading. Squeal! It then continues joyously, but otherwise quite untouched by your efforts to talk with it, as it is still basically occupied with the book. Finally, the rat turns over a page by using its tiny paws in a combined effort with its muzzle and squeals in prolonged delight. Narf! You try yourself on a bit of rat talk. The rat looks at you quizzically. Narf, narf, arf! Arf! You want to know. Narf, arf, arf, marf! The rat confirms. Marf? You inquire. Now you really want to know. No, Marf, Marf! The rat seems to be pretty sure about this. No, you ponder rather than speak it out aloud. From somewhere a deep hidden memory suddenly surfaces in your mind. It's as if a voice is talking to you, it says. You know, there was a man somewhere down south in Strata, a beggar to be precise, lived in the sewer and enjoyed talking to rats. Then to bricks, shoes, trees, yes, even to dung, and things like that. Some say he had divine visions as well, and was talking to the gods themselves that way. Others doubted. Suffice to say that it didn't end that well with him. That's just a hint, of course. You aren't talking to yourself as well regularly, perchance? Well, I am talking to my cat, and I don't think that's weird at all. Bye-bye, you finished your conversation with the literate rat. Until next time, the rat squeals one final time and continues reading.